Hello everyone, my name is Saksham Dikshit and this is my channel Pentest Diaries. Today I'll make another video on the same series of lazy programming series itself, and in this video itself I'll try to cover two major concepts. One is a static method. What is static method? That I'll try to get it cover, and how exactly we can utilize in the class. That's also I'll just try to get it cover. And the later phase itself, how exactly we talk about the encapsulation and abstraction. Everything I'll try to get it cover in this video itself. These are the major three concepts which I just wanted to be get it cover in this video itself, so that we'll try to cover the classes section bit faster. So that was the reason I'll try most of the stuff to be get it covered faster, so that at least we have the full understanding on all the concept behind it. Okay, so let me start with the static method itself. What's the purpose of the static method and why we required it? Everything I'll just make you understand first, and then I'll read the content about it. Even if I'm not reading it, then you have this document with you, so you can read about it just to understand it if you're not able to understand what I am explaining you. But I'll try my best to explain you in a simpler way so that you can able to understand that very well. So if we're talking about the static method, so what exactly is static method? If we do not want uh, if we want to define one method inside of the class itself which never ever be I can say that integrated with an instance of the class itself directly itself, then in that case we can say in that case we can call it as a static method itself. What is the purpose of it? Like, even if we are not defining any instance in the whole code, then in that case also we can call the same, we can call the same method in our code itself. Like, instead of defining any object over their instance, then in that case still we can call that. That's the purpose of the static method itself. And whatever is it we wanted that to be get reflected, we can get it defined over there itself. That's the main purpose of it. The keyword we have to use it, it's a type of decorator, I can say that, which we utilize it in our code itself just to make that get reflected. One more thing, and if in case if we want to get it utilize it without defining instance, that's also okay. If we want to call the same static method using the instance, we can do that. If we want it with a class, we can do that. So it's possible, but whatever that instance variable present over there itself inside of the methods present in the class, we can't utilize that directly. Instead of that, we have to define it, then only we can utilize it, but by default we can't have the access for it directly if we're talking about the static method. So that's the purpose of the static method. Now I'll read the content for you so that you can able to understand, and even I'll try my best to make you understand with the snippet which I have printed on my document also. So let me go ahead further. In Python, static methods are methods that are bounded to a class rather than an instance of the class. Clear about it? We have to put that method inside of the class itself, so it's not having any can say that it's not having any dependency on the instance directly itself instead of for the class. Now they do not require access to the instance or the class attribute and can be called without creating any instance. So that's a bit clear about it. Even if we are not creating any instance of inside of the code, then in that case still we can call that method. That was the purpose of it. Now you define a static method using underscore static method, this decorator. This is a type of syntax which we have to get it put inside of the code, and by that way we can define any static method. So over here itself you can see this is the class name. Now this is the syntax we have to get it defined just to make that just to define later phase itself a method which we call it as a static method. So over here itself, this is the keyword which we have to mention. Then we have to define another method which we call it as a static method. There is any name I can give it over here itself. After putting this line itself, I can put any name over it, so that considered as a static method. Then after that, whatever the statement, I just want to get it print. If I want to get return, then I can do that. Okay, that's the purpose of it. Now going further with this, static method are often used for utility functions that don't depend on instance or a class state but are related to the class conceptually. So it means like it will not having any dependency on it, do not have a dependency on directly on an instance or a class, but conceptually I can say that, like, as I'm defining that method, static method inside of the class, that having conceptually we get it related with that, it's having a connection with that itself. For example, in a math util, like which we have defined in the later phase, like this is the one I'm talking about, a class, you might have a static method to compute the square of a number itself. So that's I can say that, like, I'm defining it over here itself without defining an instance, and I can call it, and that result I can get it very easily. So that's the purpose of it. Remember, static method do not have the access to the instance and the class variable unless explicitly if we have passed an argument. If we have passed the argument, then definitely we can utilize the instance and the class variable. But if we are not, then in that case not at all be a possibility. We can utilize, we can use any instance variable or class variable inside of the static method. That's bit clear. They are essentially just like a regular functions but scoped within the class. So it's, we can treat this or we can name it as a normal method. We call it as a normal function itself, which but scoped within that class itself. So but it's having a limitation inside of the class itself, but we can consider it as a normal type of function which we can consider inside of the class we have. But the boundary in the scope is bit clear about it. We have to get it defined inside of the class only. Now this is the code which we have to see at the time when we are seeing the practical. Now going further with the next concept which we're talking about, the abstraction and the encapsulation. So what is encapsulation? What is the abstraction? So I will tell you the encapsulation first. So encapsulation is the terminology where whatever the code I'm writing over there itself, if the output we just have to showcase instead of defining it the backend mechanism. So if I was just talking about the backend mechanism, we just wanted that to be encapsulated, like it should be get it hidden from the outside, but we do not want any transactions or those things, how exactly the things are happening. We don't want to get it reflect to the whole world. So that was coming another part of the encapsulation where the majority of the portion, the important portion to be get it hidden from the user so that user can interact, can utilize it instead of just know like what actually is happening at the backside. So that's the purpose of the encapsulation. If we're talking about the abstraction, is the process of hiding the complex implementation details. This is having something a difference between an encapsulation and abstraction. Abstraction is a process of hiding the complex implementation details and showing only the necessary features of an object to the outside world. So it will show only the relative one, I can say that necessary features to the outside world instead of defining the whole things. Even in case of encapsulation, we are showing only the final result itself instead of defining the whole stuff. Now it allows you to focus on what an object does rather than how exactly it works. So we just have to get it define an object does, like what actually the object can perform it. That is the only thing the user will have to know instead of know the background of it, how exactly it works. In Python, abstraction can be achieved through abstract class interface as well as through a method signature. Here a simple example which is demonstrating about it. So this is the abstract method, I can say that, which I'm defining over here itself. And that abstract method, I can use it over here itself, but with a limitation of it. I don't want to show everything to the entire word. That was the reason there is a limitations coming under the category of the abstraction. Now talking about the next section for it, which we call as encapsulation. Encapsulation is a bundle of data, which we already discussed about it. Like we have to hide it, the whole stuff, the whole mechanism behind it, and the final output we can show is to the client or to the user, so that user will know only the final output instead of defining the whole stuff. The user can never ever be able to understand what actually is happening over there itself. So encapsulation is the bundle of data and the methods that operate on that data into a single unit, into a single unit, often referred to as a class. It hides the internal state of an object. So whatever the internal state we have it of the object itself from the outside world, and only exposes the necessary functionality through the method. So only the necessary things which we want to get it showcased to the user, that is the only thing will be showcased. Other than that, everything to be hidden. So that's coming under the category of the encapsulation. So this is the code for the encapsulation which we're talking about. Okay, now what I'll do, this is the another code which we have to be seen at the time of demonstration. So what I'll do, I think hope you're able to understand both the concept. Like this is not a bit easy concept, but I'll try my best to make you understand with that one liner itself, so that you will able to understand when anyone asks you about the encapsulation, abstraction, or anyone asks you about the static method, why we required it, everything I have covered it. Now going further with the theory part, it's completed. Now we'll go with the practical portion where we'll see the code, how to run it, how exactly we get the output, and what actually is the relevant output we are getting it. So let me go to my calling machine. Right. So this is the first code which you are able to see on my screen. Let me run it and then I'll try to show you that. Okay, so this is the output I'm getting it. Now, if we talk about the code itself, so what actually is happening, we are defining one of the class over here itself, and now I'm defining one of the class variable over here itself, which we have discussed already in my previous video itself, so I do not want to get it explain you once again. I wanted the static method to be get discussed over itself. That was the priority. Okay. Now after that we have to define another constructor which we have discussed about it, int and the self1. So we have to define one of the constructor over here itself, and with a value to be get it passed. Then we have to define it both the things. Now going further with that, this is one of the another method which we are defining inside of the class. Now we'll go for making a static method. Now this is the point where we are making the static method. To defining a static method, this is the one, and we are trying to pass one of the value which we call it as a model. Now at the time of whatever that value we are giving it over here itself, that to be get it reflected as per the need. Okay, that to be get it done defining as a static method. Now going further with that, here we are defining the object instance of the class, by which we can run in the favor of those things. Like I'm just defining two values over here, so to be get it passed for the car. The car is this one I'm talking about, so I'm just trying to pass two things, and that to be get it go over inside of the constructor, as the constructor is the function, I can say that, which runs first instead of any other portion. It runs first. So when we execute the code, this is the first thing will be get it executed. We'll have to pass two values over here itself, that to be get it pass, and the output we are getting it inside of the car one. Now for the car two also the same thing will be happening. Now if I'll try to go for the next section, which I'm talking about, the calling an instance method. This is the instance method I have created over here itself. I'll just want to get it called. Then in that case, what I'm supposed to do, I'll simply have to define the object and then the name of that method, and that to be get it defined, and we get the output as per the need which we are looking for it. We get that output. Now calling the static method. If you're talking about the static method, how we can call it? To get it call, either we can call it with the instance directly, or we can call it with the class directly. So over here itself I'm using a class just to get it call directly, that method, static method itself. So I have defining a car which is a class name, and then we are giving the static method over here itself, the value I'm passing it over here itself, and that to be go inside of it, and accordingly it get it mapped, and we get that output which we are looking for, whether it's a true or false. Similar like that in another case also, I'll try to pass the value this, and I'm just checking over there itself whether it's present over there or not. If it's not, then we are getting a result as false. As Tesla, I can able to see the entry over here itself as a list. Then in that case, definitely I'm getting a result as true. So that's the purpose of the first thing where we are talking about the static method. Now I'll discuss about the next method, next thing, which we call it as the encapsulation and abstraction. Normally you're not seeing much code related to that, but I have tried my best just to make that code for you for multiple sources, so that at least you can able to understand, and at the time when we are utilizing the stuffs, you can correlate the stuff. So let me run the code first for you. Okay, perfect. So what is happening over here itself? So I'm not talking about the class first, I'm talking about the outside stuffs. Okay, so these are the things which we have to discuss first. So I'm defining the objects over here itself. So you can see car is first object over here itself, and inside of the class I'm just trying to pass three values. In case of plane, I'm trying to pass three values, these to be get a transfer, and we get that output. Whatever the object we have defined it, we receive the output in such a way for both the car and the plane. Okay, so if I'll talk about the first class, which is a car, this is the okay. So over here itself I'm trying to get it past those values, that to be get it stored. Then I'm just trying to pass, like I'm storing those values, and now after that when I'm trying to call a display underscore info, I can utilize it as per my need. Okay, so over here itself you can see we simply have to print the vehicle information, and now I'm just pulling this car, I'm defining it over here itself, that I can say a small car. Don't be confused, this is a class name, and this is an object name instance, I can say that, which I'm defining over here just to make that object, and that to be get it mapped to the dot underscore display. So object to be get it mapped with the display an underscore info, which we have already defined it, and that value to be get a transfer, and we get the appropriate output. Similar like that in case of another one also, for the plane also have defined it, and similar type of output are supposed to get it. Now talking about the encapsulation usage. So this is something different. Over here itself, I just want to only present the stuff which is belongs to the user, nothing like a sensitive stuff, nothing internal process which I want to showcase. No, I will not at all be interested to showcase anything which is not at all be showcased, like as per the policy should not be get it exposed or print or view by the user itself. So we have to restrict using the encapsulation. That was the reason I'm utilizing encapsulation over here itself. So taking forward with that, if I'm defining an account equal to bank account, so I can see there is one of the bank account class I'm having over here itself, that to be get a defined. I'm trying to pass two values over here itself. Definitely I have already a constructor over here itself with the self value, so I'll just pass those values and get that output ready. Now once it's done, I'm going further with that, print this line, and then after that what I'll supposed to do, I'll simply have to call this one. So this is the object I'm trying to call. Along with that, whatever that value inside of it, we have it. So taking example, whatever that methods we have it inside of it, I'll try to get it called. So get balance is one of the method I'm having inside of it. I'll simply have to call that. By that way I can able to get the results. So only the balance I'm supposed to get it. Then after that, account or deposit is also 500. So I'm just trying to get it past this value also. So account dot deposit, just 1 minute. So I can see over here itself, account dot deposit, I can get it passed, and accordingly whatever the value I'm getting it, that to be 500 which I'm passing it, that to be get it shifted and get it add inside of it. On the basis of that only you will get that output. So that was the reason we are getting seeing over here itself. So it was 500, that to be get it transfer. I'm not printing that value. Now what actually I'm supposed to do, I'll just trying to print and account dot get balance. So I just want to check the balance, whether what's the balance I'm having it. So for that also I'll just try to utilize the object and calling the method present inside of that class. So get balance, I'll just try to use it over here itself, and that to be get it pulled from the upper one. I'll try to get it pulled. So that balance to be get it reflected over here itself. If I'll just try to run once again account dot withdraw 2000 itself, so I can see like insufficient fund, as whatever the balance we have it as 1500 and we are looking for 2000 rupees to be get rejected. That should not be possible. That was the reason when I'm trying to call this method over here itself, this will not work as the balance is not up to the mark which we are looking for it. Now going further with the last section for it over here itself, amount dot get balance. So get balance, if I'll just try to pull out once again, I can able to see the same results once again. Okay, so it's a similar type of statement I'm trying. Like after deposit, I just want to check the balance, and whatever that balance after the withdrawal, I can see it's the same as withdrawal not happened, as it's looking for 2000 over there itself, and we have the balance of 1500 only. So that was the reason if we run the same command once again for the after the withdrawal one also, we are getting the same amount of money we can see it. Okay, so I hope you're able to understand the whole concept behind both the things. I have tried my best to cover three concepts over here itself. One is the static method, another one is encapsulation, and third one the abstraction. I know you're not able to understand all the things through the theory, but with the practical portion, I try my best to cover up all the stuff so that you can able to understand what are the things we have to get it exposed to the client, and what we are not looking for it, why we require the static method, what's the functionality of it. Like to get it exhaustive, the whole function itself, just to overcome that problem, we are utilizing the static method. That was a reason behind it. Okay, so I hope you like this video itself. If you like this video, please subscribe my channel, and please provide your comment or feedback in the comment section of this video itself, and the description section you will get the link of my blog itself, and even whatever that the PDF, I'll just upload it on my GitHub link. I'll provide the link of the GitHub also on my channel itself. You can get the detail in the description section of this video, so that you can get it directly. So if you want to pull it, trying to make that code and with customize the stuff, you can do that very well. Okay, so thank you so much once again. Take care. Bye bye.